the one thing I've tried to put a priority on since I left the White House was, getting some exercise in. I think that there's a good probability that my generation is, hopefully with the advances in science, either, the first generation to live forever or the last generation that's going to die. And so we need to keep ourselves in pretty good shape.
Apparently, Jared Kushner thinks he will become immortal. That was a Q&A for his upcoming book, Breaking History. And he's got some backlash on Twitter, including Steve Bannon taking a swing, saying a transhumanist, we're gonna define that word in a second, who believes it's a real possibility that he could live forever and never die, put himself in charge of Project Warp Speed, the effort to rush an experimental gene therapy or vaccine through trials toward an emergency use authorization. Now things begin to become clear. What a mess. So transhumanist, according to Encyclopedia Britannica, defines transhumanism as a social and philosophical movement devoted to promoting the research and development of robust human enhancement technologies. And Kushner isn't the only insanely rich transhumanist. Jeff Bezos has invested some of his 199 billion into a new rejuvenation startup called Altos Labs. According to a report from MIT Technology Review, the anti-aging startup, which is said to be pursuing biological reprogramming technology, is also reportedly backed by Russian-Israeli venture capitalist Yuri Milner, who made a fortune as an early investor in Facebook. On the other end of the crazy spectrum, we have Donald Trump. Trump considers exercise misguided, arguing that a person, like a battery, is born with a finite amount of energy. That is hilarious. I find that terribly funny. What are your thoughts?
I think Kushner has a better chance of being right than Trump does. So that's how pathetic this situation is. All right, there's a couple of interesting angles here. One is the super rich. This is way bigger than Kushner and just Bezos. I've read about this. They're obsessed with it in Silicon Valley. The super rich think that they might have a shot at living forever. And for them, and this part is logical, they say, since they have all the money in the world, they think time is more valuable than money. Okay, that's good. That's a good way of thinking about it. And by the way, you don't have to be super rich to think about it that way. It's totally true. We're all gonna run out of time. Time is the most precious thing you have, and you don't have to be rich to enjoy it, okay? But for those folks, they think since we're so rich, maybe we just stop time and stop death. My guess is, and not gonna work out for them, okay? So, I wrote this old shirt. I love Nietzsche, and this is just a clever shirt. It doesn't really mean anything, but it said, "God is dead, Nietzsche," right? And underneath it, it says, "Nietzsche is dead, God." So even though I generally agree with Nietzsche, I also agree with God, because Nietzsche is not around, and Kushner's not gonna be around one day either. But that's their mindset. Now, the second interesting part of the story is the Bannon Kushner fight. Interesting. So a lot of people think Kushner has lost face in the Trump world after the presidency, right? And all of Trump's allies are talking crap about Kushner to make sure he doesn't make a comeback. And they think he was too soft and et cetera. And so Bannon talking about transhumanist, he's trying to throw the word trans in there, let alone the concept of transhumanist, because he's just trying to trigger the right wing against them. But if you notice, it also was filled with a weirdo conspiracy theory. Like, oh, no wonder he wanted to rush the vaccine so he could live forever. Well, I mean, wouldn't we want to live longer? And if that's what the vaccine created, is that a bad thing? So there are no winners in this story, it's just a bunch of loons.
No, absolutely. I think everybody's a loon in this whole idea of living forever. I don't know if it's just because, maybe my social station or the way our world goes, but I am not looking to live forever. I do believe that I would be on that Angela Bassett game in terms of always looking good, black don't crack. But as far as I'm concerned, the way our society works, my black ass is ready to die when my time comes. Things are not awesome, they are not great. So I can see why Bezos and all these little wealthy dudes are cool with, let's do this forever. But as far as I'm concerned, watching democracy be undermined, fighting for my life on a daily basis. It's not something that I want to entertain for centuries to come. But I can really see why Bezos and Kushner think that this sounds like a great idea.
I'm still thinking about the battery comment. I think it's so funny. This is why he eats so terribly. He thinks we all are born with a finite amount of energy. It doesn't matter what you eat. That's why he's eating Big Macs and chicken nuggets that he's throwing against the wall when he's upset. It's because he really thinks it has no effect. He just doesn't believe in physical health. This is the same dude that when he had COVID, he was like, I beat the virus, I beat the virus. Okay, well, you used a significant portion of the energy that you have that is finite in your battery. I think it's such a funny theory. I will never stop thinking about it.
No, look, we the whole story about how the emperor has no clothes, right? We keep pretending Trump has clothes. He thinks wind, the noise that comes from wind causes cancer. He thinks maybe you can nuke a hurricane. He thinks that the stealth jets are literally invisible to the naked eye, like Wonder Woman's plane. He thinks that if you exercise, you'll run out of battery. The guy is like anywhere from incredibly unintelligent to like an actual clinical mental deficiency, right? He passed a senility test and thought he passed an IQ test. Like, but they should have put in the senility test. What is this test? Okay, so he's just clinically stupid, whereas Kushner is clinically arrogant, and they're both a bad combo.
Yes, Kushner, Mr. Born on Third.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.